Have you ever wished for your hair to go short to long, thin to thick, from brown to blonde, without waiting months for it to grow, without any of the damage, where hair extensions might be your new best friend? Hi, my name is Melanie Schaefer. I am the owner of the Madi Way, located in Orland Park. In today's video, we are deep diving into the world of hair extensions. From everything of what there are, the different types, how to choose what's best for you, how to care for them so they last, whether you're a beginner or a total pro. By the end of this video, it'll be everything you need to know about hair extensions. We will be covering all the basics. So let's start with what are hair extensions. Hair extensions are strands of real synthetic hair added to your natural hair to create length, volume, or color effects. They've been around for centuries, from ancient Egypt wigs to the natural looks we see today. There are the two main categories of hair extensions: human hair and synthetic. Human gives a natural look, can be styled with hot tools and even colored. Synthetic, most of the time, cannot be styled with hot tools or color, but they're the most affordable way. Let's break down the most popular hair extensions. We can start with clip-ins. Clip-ins are easier to use, perfect for beginners, can be installed at home for quick transformations, whether to add volume or length. They're reusable, quick to apply, no damage for the most part to hair. The only damage I usually see with people that constantly wear clip-ins is from the clip part. There are so many different types of clip-ins now that you can figure out what's best for you. And that is a little kind though, we're wearing them every day. But for the most part, casual wear has no damage. They are very temporary for clip-ins. It's usually good for like a one-day look. I know I have clients that come in and sometimes with their shampoo and wash, when we add clip-ons to it, being very careful you can't sleep with them. The Madi Way bonnet is perfect because it ties to keep your hair in place in the bonnet. So that's one day to have them longer, but however, for the most part, clip-ins are a very temporary solution for a one-day wear. And it's not for sleeping and swimming. Depending on what look you want, whether you're going for length or volume, depends how many clip-ins you need. Usually for volume, require less clip-ins, depending on how big you want to go. You can add like 3 clip-ins in, give it a fuller look. But however, for length, if you're going from a short, natural look with your hair, then you want, like for it to like a 16, 18, 20 or whatever. That requires usually more clip-ins so we could evenly hide the hair at the bottom. Next, we'll talk about tape-in extensions. They're lightweight and flat, and they're semi-permanent and great for natural blending. Tape-ins is one of my favorites outside of sew-ins. Or if you want very natural looking people that usually don't like the tightness or like construction of sew-ins, tape-ins is my second best extension type. Like I said, they're natural looking, reusable for maintenance. This is something that needs to be applied at the salon. Unless you are a professional at home, tape-ins are something that needs to be applied at the salon with a professional. Even though it looks very easy, tape-ins can cause damage when not applied properly because that tape is very strong. From the amount you put in the tape-in, how you place them, or it even does not have the natural look because of where the tape-in is placed. I've seen a lot of even untrained stylists put tape-ins in the wrong way, so they have clients with tape-ins up here that you can see the tape. Tape-ins should be a very seamless look. That's also the reason you need a consultation, because tape-ins are not for everybody. Tape-ins need regular upkeep, but about every 6 weeks, I will say, you can take them down or have a professional take them down and reapply them so they are reusable. But the kind of that is in these upkeep like natural hair. So how you wash your hair without the scrubbing is how you would tape-in. So if you are a person that's perfect with your natural hair, tape-ins should be easier for you. If you are the person that does not like upkeep with your natural hair, tape-ins are not for you. Let's talk about my favorite and the best growth method for hair, at least in my salon. I am well known for my sew-ins. My sew-ins last 2 to 3 months, no maintenance. Unless it's a closure or frontal, you are not supposed to be tightening sew-ins. Foundation is key, including the braiding pattern from the start of the braiding pattern. How you sew it in is the difference between a protective style and the extensions that can break off your hair. My clients see from the first sew-in tremendous growth. I have so many testicles from my clients. They love it. And it grows their hair out. So I have seen as much as people grow their hair 2 inches from the first application of sew-ins, because the way I do it is very protective style. It's common for thick and texture hair. Your natural hair is braided, the extensions are sewn in, but it's great for people with thinning hair too, actually. But the thing is with that, when you're thinning hair, I am the perfect person to install your sewing because of my braiding method. It's safe for somebody that's going through hair loss and stuff. Now, too much hair loss is when I start talking to people about like my glueless wigs and stuff like that. But yes, sewing is really good for everybody. This doesn't take much of a consultation. It's very rare that somebody cannot get a sew in unless they suffer extreme damage to their hair. Now, the pros is it's long lasting. It's very secure. Swimming, exercising, sleeping at night. You don't have to think twice about if my tracks are going to fall out unless it's a terrible sew in. Cons of it, it can feel tight when you first get it put on. If you're not somebody used to tension, it definitely takes, some getting used to the tightness, especially with my sew ins. But let me tell you, my clients' edges are not suffering. Their hair is flourishing. The tightness is just a temporary feeling from the sewing being so secure. If your sew-ins, you feel like it's tight because and you're getting like edge loss, it's usually not just from the tightness, it's from how the foundation is. If the foundation is not strong, if it is tight, then yes, that's what's causing breakage to the edges in the hair. But tight doesn't necessarily mean your edges are breaking. I have so many clients that can attest to that. I have before and after videos of some of my clients, how long my clients' hair are with the sew-ins. So yes. Sew-ins are definitely my favorite way for people to get extensions because of the security, the low maintenance compared to like tape-ins or micro links. And, it's just something that gets the client feeling beautiful with very little effort. Let's talk about K-tips, keratin fusions. I know that's the new trend right now in, I would say, the Black community. I've been familiar with keratin about at least like 8 years, 9 years. I hate them. There are no safe ways to do K-tips. If you are a stylist, please, I am begging. If you have clients that have gotten 3 installs of K-tips and still have very healthy, natural looking hair, send me a video in the way you do it in your maintenance program. But as far as the 8-9 years I have seen as a natural hair specialist and a specialist to everybody, I am versatile in everybody's hair. I have had people other than Black people come to me to repair their hair, give them a different extension type because they have been getting keratin tips for so long and their hair has been doing nothing but breaking off. It reminds me, I always say, like, if you want K-tips or if you want like to chuck it out, get K-tips. Their hair is very damaging at the end. It thins out. And the reason being, K-tips is keratin. Too much keratin on the hair can break the hair. And it's like a hot glue. It melts it. It's just not, there's no safe way to do it. I've had very little stylists that tell me that they have a safe way with proper maintenance. Their clients are fine. But for most part, even other stylists I know will warn clients of how it is. I know people like the K-tips because the seamlessness of how it looks, how the hair separates. But my next extension type I will talk about after this can be very similar of a look, but we will talk about that next. But yes, when it comes to keratin, K-tips, I don't like it. Like I said, they use a heat and keratin bond to attach individual strands. It's very natural looking, can last up to 3 months, but however, it is very expensive and time consuming to install. I wouldn't want anybody wasting their time or their money just for me to damage their hair. That's why I do not offer it as a service. It will not be on my booking site. If there ever is a safe way I find out that I haven't seen in 8 years, I will add it. But until then, I just don't believe in people paying me to break off their hair. So my next extension type is micro links eye tips. I like micro links and eye tips. However, it's not my preferred choice for everybody. So I do more tape-ins than micro links, but micro links are good. If you want something similar to the K-tips, I suggest micro links. However, the way I've been seeing people do them when it got popular the last couple of years is a no-no. The reason is not giving the same seamless effect of K-tips because people are putting the beads back to back to back. And think of it as if you had 10 rubber bands in a row and there's no hair in between, the tension that will cause and stuff. The professional way and even certified way a company, when microlinks first became a thing will tell you there is no reason those beads should be back to back. It's supposed to be separated. Reason being so the client can part their hair in certain ways and they spread and stuff and different things like that. I like micro links. I do not like the way I've been seeing people doing. If you are going to somebody that's putting a micro link right next to each other with not even a teensy bits of hair in between micro links to separate the tension and to give that flawless look, that's probably 9 times out of 10 not somebody that's been trained or educated about micro links. Another thing is too the micro links where they use there is not micro links. The micro though links where they use a weft and sew it on. I'm not a fan of that method. It's way safer actually to get a sew in. But I've seen people do using micro links to sew it in across all boards, all types of styles, all ethnicities and everything. To me, when you do that, you might as well get a sew in. Sewing on that bead is not damaging, but having that weft hold it up. I mean, having that bead just hold up the weft with just sewing it through the bead can be damaging. And it's not as seamless as it is. Honestly, a good foundation with a sewing is more seamless than somebody doing that, especially the way it grows out of the bead and stuff. But yes, I do like micro links. Micro links, though, are the tiny beads that connect the extensions to your hair without glue or heat. So it's like the little beads and a piece of strand, and I'll insert pictures of how it holds up to the hair. Basically the same thought process of a keratin K-tips, but without the glue instead of the beads holding it up. It's reusable and adjustable with micro links. After a couple of weeks, you can loosen the bead, slide it up, and then reclamp it. Then 6 weeks after that is when you have to take it all down and redo the whole process. So it lasts a little bit longer than tape ends. It can last as long as keratin with that maintenance in between the 3 months, but they can slip if not properly maintained. But like I said, K-tips also just fall out once like the glue gets old and stuff. Usually micro links, you'll have just something where you can feel it slipping and pieces will fall out, but it's not nothing that your whole hair has to fall out for it to get redone. When choosing extensions, you want to think about 3 things: your hair type, your lifestyle, and your budget. Let me say this again. Your budget. Your budget has nothing to do with my pricing. I will always try to fit my pricing into anybody's budget, but it has to be realistic. I am pricing at what it takes for that time. I do not do shortcuts, and I also include watch with every services. And I like to use top of the line products, so I like to make sure the client's hair is growing out. Everybody is not the stylist for every client, and that is totally understandable. But I have created a luxury settings for my clients feel well taken care of. You know, they could call me. You know, if it's a problem with their hair, we will get it fixed. I try to be available for them. That's why my hours are so open, because that to me is a luxury hairstylist. I've seen somebody actually say, I am a luxury hairstylist, so I don't work after 6. I'm not responding to texts on Sundays. And that's not a luxury hairstylist. People paying you luxury prices, I absolutely am available for you to call me on Sundays. I work on Sundays. I am available after 6 because my clients with their great jobs, shout out to my wonderful clients, have to work. So yes, if you need me at 8 o'clock, I am available at 8 o'clock. But yes, but depending on your lifestyle and your hair type, definitely, I will always recommend what extension type is best for you. And I have clients try different type of extensions, and usually we figure out what's best for them. Also, the purpose of getting extensions is not to cover up unhealthy hair, which is why I am very big on, I like to do stuff that's healthy for the hair, because eventually with me, you should feel confident with wearing your natural hair. I'm not here to keep anybody stuck needing extensions, feel like they always need a wig to feel beautiful. The goal is to have your natural hair so healthy, you're wearing extensions and wig as an option. Sew-ins, though, sew-ins will always be my favorite type of extension. That is what I specialize in. I am certified in all the other extensions, But I specialize in sew-ins because my technique, over and over again, I get complimented. The first time a client gets to sew-in with me, they tell me this is the best sewing they had. And it makes me feel great. But it's also when we take down their sewing, they're amazed at their growth and how their hair was and how long they kept their sewing in. I do not tighten the natural sewing. There's no reason to tighten the natural sewing. If your natural sewing has to be tightened, you need to find another stylist. There is no such thing as sewing maintenance unless it's a closure or a frontal, and that's because the lace has to be tightened. That is it. And 9 times out of 10, you could tell by certain braid patterns right off, this is not going to be a good foundation. Also, with doing extensions, especially when we're talking about color, you want to color match, not so much from the root, but color match the ends of the hair. That is going to make it so the sewing looks flawless. Even if you're trying to blend a different color that's not usually in your head, for whatever extension type you're getting, you want to find something that will blend with your ends and find a way to blend the ends to that extension. When it comes for caring for your extensions, to make them last longer, maintain them like a pro. Whether you do need to come in the salon or can do it at home, the maintenance of how you take care of it from the washing, drying, and stuff will depend on how long your extensions last also. With sew-ins, not so much. It automatically does just last 2 to 3 months with my sew-ins. But like with tape-ins and micro links, if you are getting keratin treatments and stuff, that will depend how long it lasts. Like I said, with the lifespan of each extension type, clip-ins and not on your head, but far as like how long usually the hair lasts. If it's human hair, it usually lasts 1 year. Tape-ins last 6 to 8 weeks. I always say usually 6 weeks is a safe spot to come back in if you want to extend tape-ins again, to get them, take them down, have me retape them and put them back in. Fusions last 2 to 3 months. Sew-ins last 2 to 3 months. Micro links also last 12 weeks with a 6-week maintenance in the middle, just to loosen the bead, pull the extension strand up, retighten the bead, and then after 6 weeks after that, to take them all down and redo the whole style. So the common mistakes and myths when it comes to extensions, that extensions will ruin your hair. When applied and maintained properly, they're totally safe. Outside of keratin treatments, I'm going to repeat that. Like I said, if you do keratin treatments, K-tips, keratin tips. If you do them and have a safe way, your client's hair is healthy, and I'm so serious, please send them in to me. Send me your pictures, send me your testimonial from your clients. But other than that, I will say there is no safe way to do K-tips. They're only for long hair. As we all know, short hair people get extensions, and 9 out of 10 is for a fuller look or to give yourself a different short look, or people that's getting long hair and that want a short look. Extensions are versatile, and depending on which extension type you like is how versatile it's going to be. Another reason a lot of people stay away from extensions because they're too expensive. There's extension type for everybody's budget, and there might be a stylist for everybody's budget also. But with the Madi Way, we have buy now, pay later in store now. With Afterpay, Klarna, and Affirm, I've switched over to Gloss Genie as my booking site. So thanks to Gloss Genie, you can now get your hair done, get what you want. And depending on which method of payment you use, you can buy now, pay later. And with some of these apps, you don't have to pay nothing that day. But the Madi Way accepts everything. Debit, credit, cash still. But yes, I am trying to offer the buy now, pay here in store just to help everybody out. I get it. And sometimes it is easier spreading those payments about. How about getting your quality look, your quality service at a rate you can afford just with buy now, pay later? Another stuff I get is clients saying that, they've been trying to come to me for a while, fit in their budget. But they have really seen how much cheaper it actually is coming to me versus a cheaper stylist, because my methods last longer. So they're not going back in 3-4 weeks to get another hairstyle because they still have the same sewing in from 2-3 months ago. Most people actually spend more money trying to go the cheap route to another stylist that's more affordable than trying to go to somebody that is very big on, hey, I'm trying to do this method so I can keep your hair together as long as possible, whether it's from braids and even natural hair. Um, the clients that's with me the longest with their natural hair getting their presses, you can see the difference from a new client. Eventually, your hair lasts longer with presses the longer you're with me. But especially when it comes to extensions, I am doing extensions in the way that I am taking my time and making sure we have a secure look for you that you do not have to come back in the next couple of weeks unless you just want me to wash it. And even then, coming for me to wash it is still gonna be cheaper than having to go get it redone in a couple weeks. So whether you want instant look, a more glamorous look, experiment with color, hair extension open the world of possibilities. I really love when people tell me what they were going through before they met me. So please send me in your worst horror stories of getting hair extensions and what can be done in different methods. I didn't really talk about quick weaves. I will talk about it in a different video. But yes, please send me in anything you have about your horror hair extensions or your good hair extension stories. Send me in stylists that you love that does hair extensions. But yes, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the Madi Way. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am trying so hard to make regular content. Y'all bear with me. I hate doing content so much. Anybody that knows me knows this, but I am trying. But yes, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have any questions about hair at all. If you are in the Chicagoland area, come visit the Madi Way. Like, see why everybody loves getting their hair done by me. And my extensions, we are having a Black Friday sale. 25% off all the extensions, all the wigs, all the boho hair, everything will be 25% off. Tape-ins, micro links are now added on the site. Please shop the Black Friday sale. I am doing something I never did. It's free closures with purchase over $300 or more. Do not add the closures to the cart. If you want a free closure, just put free closure in the discount box promo code. That will be the only thing you need a promo code for. But yes, the site will be automatically 25% off. I might have classes for sale that people that want to learn different techniques, especially extensions, silk presses, my sewing machine making classes, everything on there will be for sale. Thank you guys. And like I said, I am located in Orland Park, Illinois. So please come visit the Madi Way. You can shop and book on the MadiWay.com.